Welcome to Startup TV Boston. My name is Michael McCarthy, and Startup TV Boston was designed for Harvard Extension students who had excellent startup ideas, but after the semester ended, they didn't know where to go. And I wanted to carry them further by starting this television show. And I'd like to welcome my co-host, Johan Bergman. Johan, welcome.
Thank you very much, Michael.
And I'd like to introduce two very special guests today from Mexico. Anhara, welcome.
Thank you.
And Xavier.
Thank you, Michael.
Welcome. And Johan, what role do you play in the Hult Prize? And could you explain what you do with the Hult Prize and what is the Hult Prize and how are these people involved?
Of course. So the Hult Prize is the world's largest platform for youth-generated social enterprise. So enterprises that try to use innovative business to solve huge global challenges. And each year we come out with a challenge on a global topic, a global issue, and then students like Anhara and Javier take up this call. As a matter of fact, 50,000 students took up this call from 100 different countries this year, and then they create startups and start companies to solve these ideas.
So 50,000 students competed this year, and the size of the prize is $1 million?
That's correct.
And I understand you're finalists?
Yes.
So how many people are in the final round?
Oh, 8 teams.
8 teams?
Yeah.
8 teams.
So 8 out of 50,000 students?
Correct.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, Michael.
So you might be millionaires soon.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Excellent. I like that. I like that. So could you share with us a little bit about your idea? What are you doing for the Hult Prize? What's your project?
Okay, so we want to improve the sanitation for people who live in slums. And we want to set up ecological dry toilets.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we reduce the contact with feces. And also produce gas with the bio-waste and sell the biogas.
Excellent. And the Hult Prize this year, does it have a theme or a requirement of what you're supposed to do, or is it anything?
No, so exactly. Thank you for that, Michael. So a little bit of background. So the Hult Prize this year, the challenge is around the refugee crisis and involuntary migration. And what we've challenged these students to do is to come up with a business idea that can solve and improve the lives and rights and dignity of 10 million refugees before 2022. So it's a huge challenge, and within this challenge we've also redefined who is a refugee. So if you look at how the UN defines refugees, you have 65 million refugees today who are victims of conflict and war. But we've added to that an additional 100 million from environmental causes,
Mm-hmm.
and on top of that as well, people who leave their homes due to political unrest and issues. And then on top of that, which is the group that these guys are targeting, everybody who lives in a slum, because they are also by definition involuntary migrants who have been displaced somehow within their countries or to neighboring countries.
So there's a new definition for refugees, which sounds. Tell me if you like this idea that anyone who has left their home against their will.
Exactly. So everyone who is involved in an involuntary migrant, and adding up all of these different, sort of sectors, we get to a staggering number of 1 billion refugees worldwide, which is the market that these guys are tapping into if we see it from a business point of view.
So by this definition, there's 1 billion refugees in the world.
Correct.
And your goal is to improve the lives of 10 million of them.
Exactly.
Good. Excellent. So what problem are you solving?
Sanitation.
Sanitation.
And there's a important concept that is dignity.
Dignity. Okay. So I see you have a PowerPoint with your pitch. Would you be willing to share your pitch with us and just walk us through what your idea is so that we can have a better understanding of what you're doing?
Okay.
That would
Excellent.
be amazing.
So, begin.
Okay. Imagine for a single moment to have the choice to use this toilet. It's repulsive, disgusting, Of course, none of us will use it. According to United Nations, 1/3 of the world's population have no choice. More than 800,000 people die every year because diarrhea, cholera, and malaria caused by unhealthy conditions. We have the solution. We have two technologies to improve the sanitation of the people, to give our customers a cheaper cooking solution. In order to provide better hygienic conditions, we are going to set up ecological dry toilets with a system which separates feces and urine. We will produce biogas to give our customers an odorless cooking gas. We will work in the following way.
We're going to use a franchise model because we think that is the best way to scale this project, and it will be in the following way. Imagine that this is the Sanchez family. They are going to pay an initial fee of $15 for the installation of the toilet, and they will pay $5 per week for the collection service. Then the franchisee will exchange a container full of bio-waste for a clean empty one, and the bio-waste will be transferred to a collection center where we will have the biodigester. The franchisee will put the bio-waste into the biodigester, which will produce 28 cubic meters of biogas daily and 800 liters of fertilizer. The biogas will be stored in special bags and will be sold to the community. The franchisee will pass with a truck 3 times per week and will sell the gas, and we will sell the fertilizer to farmers. We will have revenues from 3 different ways: the toilet fee and collection service, and the sale of biogas and fertilizer. One franchisee can give us $200 profit per week, 50 of which will go to U-gas as our franchise fee, giving us revenue of $2,600 per year. We are going to set up 5 franchises in the first year in Mexico to prove our model. Then we are going to scale in the second year to 100 franchises, and in the 4th year we are forecasting 1,000 franchises, giving us a revenue of $2.6 million per year. This is a slum in Mexico called Ecatepec. People there use charcoal for cooking and have no toilet. We are going to start there. Our partner Rebecca is there right now doing research on the ground, and hopefully we will start soon.
We have raised $62,000 from one of the biggest gas businesses in Mexico called Gas Nieto, and we have the support of the senior Mexican leaders. This is our team. We are Anjara, Rebecca, and Javier. Our mentor is Steve Andrews. Ernesto Cordero is a Mexican senator, and Empresas Nieto.
Our solution turns human waste into valuable energy. It provides our customers with cheaper cooking solution, improves their sanitation, and reduces deforestation.
That's why in U-gas we need your help, your commitment, and your heart for help us to restore the dignity at least 10 million refugees.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's excellent. It's an amazing idea. you could do this anywhere. It's actually a global solution. It's not just for where you're starting. May I ask a few questions? Is this being done now anywhere in the world? Is anyone doing this now successfully?
Yes, there's people using biodigesters and dry toilets. Yes, the difference with us is that we store the gas and sell it to the community. People just do fertilizer with the bio waste.
Gotcha. Okay. And as far as the economics, where are you? I see that you have 3 income streams.
Mm-hmm.
You have the fertilizer, you have the gas, and then you have the toilet exchange. Are you making money off of the toilet exchange, or is that just break even, the $5 a week of doing the exchange?
We are doing profit.
There is a profit there.
Yes.
And there's also a profit in the fertilizer?
Yes.
And a profit in the gas as well?
Yes.
Is the fertilizer or the gas subsidizing the toilets for the actual people who are living in the homes?
Oh, no. Well, not sure. Probably the biodigester.
Okay. So basically you really are looking at 3 businesses separately that are standing on their own 2 feet together.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, I gave you a choice coming on to the show. You could either do the pitch and we would give you venture capital questions that real venture capitalists would ask, or you could come on the show and do a coaching session with Johan and myself, basically asking us questions on how to make this better. And you chose the coaching session, which I think is more fun. Johan loves it. Johan loves it. You're going to get some free advice. And everyone out there in TV land, you get to watch how executive startup coaching works. Because a lot of people have heard about coaching, but they don't really know exactly how it goes. So what we would like to find out from you is, in our limited time together, how can we help you?
With the business model.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so it looks like we have 3 choices if we are going to give jobs through the franchise model, or sell just fertilizer or the gas or toilets. Like, we don't know where should we focus to make the other things work.
Okay, so your question is, should we be doing a franchise model to make money? Is that the basic question?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any questions, Johan?
I'm interested a little bit in your customers and kind of their current behavior. So, looking at the people who live in the slum, how do they currently kind of handle, the waste and kind of the transportation away? Because that, I think, can inform some of the business model decisions as well. So, do you want to give us a little bit more feedback, a little bit more background on that?
Yes, right now they have latrines. So the government goes to the slum like 1 time per year and charge them a fee to clean the latrines. And it's so dirty.
So only once per year?
Yeah,
And how much are they paying that 1 time per year?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Okay. But obviously it's affordable because they're paying it.
Yes.
So there's some money there because you would be replacing the latrines. So let's say, for example, it's $100 a year to clean out the latrine. I have no idea what the number would be. But either they're not paying it and the latrines are full, or they are paying it and they're paying the $100. So assuming that that $100 is being paid, that's $100 that you could have coming towards your business because they wouldn't be needing the latrines anymore.
Exactly, and I think you'd included that as a $5 pickup fee there.
Okay.
So
But I'm thinking around that, is there, because you have such a, an opportunity to make money in so many different places, so I'm thinking, is there an opportunity for you to make your offering even more attractive by alleviating some of these fees that they're currently paying, perhaps, and finding that money somewhere else, and by that having an easier adoption?
what pops in my head, people always love free, and they love free when their lives improve. So imagine that we could give people that right now they're going on the barrel. They're going to the bathroom on the barrel out in the open, and right now we could say, here's a toilet that you can bring indoors, like a porta potty, and every three times a week you can bring that to the collection truck. If you gave them the toilet and said that the collection was free, I think everyone would say yes to that. I certainly would. So you certainly get easy adoption with that. And another thought is you're actually getting free natural resources from the people. So it's almost like an oil field. Instead of paying for the oil field or the underground gas field, humans are the fuel. And on one level, someone could make an argument, why are you charging me to give you fuel for free that you're going to be selling somewhere else? So there's an argument of giving the toilets away, making the collection free, and when all that goes to the biodigester people, that franchisee, I could imagine saying, you need to pay for this. We're delivering you the raw fuel, literally, and you need to pay for the delivery, you need to pay for the raw fuel, and then whatever you want to charge for fertilizer and natural gas, go for it. But then I think you could have a carve out that says you have to sell almost you would say either give that natural gas in LP form back to the people who are contributing. So the biodigester guy that's selling the fuel and the fertilizer to the public, he needs to give it back for free to the people who actually supply the raw product.
Right. I think there are two different ways. Either you create this cyclical system, which you're talking about there, where I produce my own cooking fuel with the intermediary of the biodigester person, or but you will still have to have an income stream, I guess, on the side where you sell to. It's kind of a buy one give one.
Well, the free would work if you're the client, and let's say you're producing 5 pounds per week of raw fuel, and they're giving you 1 pound for free back because that's all you use. You need to be giving them more natural resource fuel than what you're getting back for free. So we have to find out how much urine and feces does a human produce in this community on a weekly basis. I'm guessing they don't have a lot of food, so they might not be producing a large amount, but I would probably look at it almost like with an Excel spreadsheet of how much is one person producing per unit, which let's say per week, and how much fuel does that make. So let's say it's 5 pounds of raw resource, and you're using, let's say, one square liter of gas. That's what I use, but I'm actually producing 5. Then that extra 4, the biodigester person can sell and make whatever he wants. Then it works. But whoever is producing the basic fuel needs to be using less refined fuel in return. So I would do a little bit of math on that. So that would be one way. If they're using less gas than they're producing, then the free model would work.
Right, exactly. But somehow, so let me understand. So is the franchise person, what part of the kind of supply chain is the franchisee doing? Are they doing everything from collection until sale, or are they just doing the biodigester?
He will collect the human waste and will produce the biogas.
That's you, or that's him, or
Franchisee.
The
Franchisee.
So he collects and then produces the biogas.
Yes.
And then he also collects the revenue from the sale of the biogas.
Yes.
So you essentially provide an out-of-the-box solution for him, and he what does he pay you?
We don't know yet.
We are thinking 25% of their revenues.
The revenues.
Okay.
Okay.
I could see charging him for the raw sewage and the delivery.
Because that gives him an incentive to use it well, in a way.
Exactly.
Right.
It gives him an incentive. So let's say Johan is living in the slum and he's one of the customers. You get it free from Johan because you're giving him a free toilet and a free exchange service, and he's getting free natural gas. You're taking the raw sewage and you're now delivering it to the biodigester person. You charge him for the raw sewage and the delivery of that raw sewage. And now he's gotten a free service. You've been paid for the raw sewage. Now the biodigester person, to Johan's point, needs to be very efficient about how he's making it into refined fuel and making sure that he's charging a good price for it. So that works.
Yeah.
And then you can scale that. You can absolutely scale it. So basically, you're in the business of acquiring the customers who are going to give you the free unrefined fuel, if you will, and you need to be paid for the raw sewage, which is going to finance your salaries. It's going to finance the delivery service, the employees who run that delivery service, the toilet units, the LP gas tanks, and the delivery back and forth of that to people. So you're actually going to be charging probably a fair amount of money, but the natural resource is free to you.
Now, have you had any feedback from Rebecca, your colleague who's in the field this week? Have you been able to get any data from her on your customers, on their income level, on their living habits, etc., that was relevant?
Yes, we know that everyone have latrines there, and they don't want latrine. They can pay for a dry toilet. And
they cannot pay for a dry toilet?
No, they can.
They can?
Well, not pay all the toilet, but they could pay an initial fee.
Do you have a
And
feeling for how much that could be?
no.
Okay, so there's a question.
Yeah.
But greater than zero is good.
Yeah.
Well, it's more than zero.
There's
that's
more than
for
zero.
sure.
There's an
Yeah.
opportunity, absolutely.
And what else?
And people want an alternative way to cook.
Right.
Why? What are they cooking with now?
Charcoal.
Charcoal and coal.
And what do they pay for that? Do you know?
We have the information that in Africa people pays $500 a year for charcoal.
So $500 a year for charcoal.
Is that for like a family of four or something basic? Okay.
And is there a reason why they would prefer to use something besides charcoal?
Yeah, it's expensive and also it's unhealthy.
Why is it unhealthy?
In Africa, indoor smoke kills more people than malaria.
The CO2 kills people.
Oh, the CO2 is an off gas from cooking the charcoal,
Yes.
Right.
and that gas inside the house kills more people in Africa than malaria.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have an absolute incentive to want to get literally cleaner fuel.
Yeah.
Okay, so for $500 a year, that's what they're paying now, and you're looking to give them cleaner gas where they're not going to have a CO2 emission, they're not going to have people dying from this form of fuel, and what do you want to charge for that? If they're paying for $500 a year now, do you have an idea of what you want to charge for your cleaner gas if they're already paying $500 a year?
I think less for the bathroom too, like the toilet and the cleaner gas.
That's nice, and that's good, and it's a social entrepreneurship venture,
Yeah.
but there's a difference between nonprofit and social entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So nonprofit means basically, I'm doing this very nice thing, I'm not making any profit at the end of the day. Yes, there is money for me to have my salary and survive, but social entrepreneurship is a little bit different where it's okay to make money, and you just have to help people along the way. So you're doing all the helping, and I would caution you that your business needs to make money, because if it doesn't, you can't help people. So it's very honorable to say we want things to be free, we want it to be less and cheaper. That's all great, but at the end of the day, we still have to make sure that the company, as well as yourselves, are making money. And one thing I'm looking at is that if people are already paying $500 a year and loved ones are dying because of the CO2, if you charged $600 a year and you're saving lives, that's a great value. So I would say if you're somewhere in the neighborhood of continuing to pay $500, I would say $500 or less, because you know they're already paying $500. if you match $500, at least you know during the prize when you compete that they can afford it.
Exactly.
So I would say I would encourage you to keep the goal of $500 to make sure that you're financially viable. If you say, hey, we have too much profit, we don't need this much, then great, give a discount. But I would say let's not give away the money yet. But right now, I would encourage you to consider keeping $500 a year, since that's what people are paying right now. Because you're already giving the toilet away. Maybe.
So I mean, I think this is such a fantastic idea, and I think, you know, there's such potential beyond just helping, you know, the sanitation side of it, as we're discussing right now. But I'm a bit interested in, why isn't anybody doing this yet? Like, what are some of the barriers to entry to this particular market that you have discovered, and as you were doing some research?
There's biodigester around the world, but I think maybe the people still see that cook if they cook with this gas. This gas comes from urine and feces. Maybe people don't like this way, but
So there's an image issue.
Yeah.
Okay, what if, this is where we get into branding, this is all public perception. In the United States, people won't eat a bug. They don't eat insects. But in other countries, they do.
in Mexico,
There you go.
In Mexico,
There you go.
Oaxaca,
Actually,
Mexico.
I've had fried grasshoppers in Boston.
We have one of the most
Worms.
successful companies that Hult Prize ever launched, Aspire Food Group. We're now growing, you know, over $100 million in valuation, based on creating an industrial approach to cricket farming.
Yes.
So there is a market.
There is a market. So what you're talking about is public perception. So on one level, what you could do is rebrand it into another name, or mix the gas with something else. So let's say, and I don't know if you can do this chemically or if it's safe, but what if you had a combination of your natural gas with, let's say, ethanol from corn, or just straight regular natural gas, or something else where it was a blend. Even if it was a 99% and 1% blend, it's still a blend. Or if it wanted to be just pure human fuel, you could get maybe a cute name to it that didn't mean anything. You wouldn't necessarily have to call it U-gas. You could maybe call it
Us gas. No, just kidding.
I was gonna-
No, but no, exactly.
you could take a name that means nothing. I mean, you could, this is obviously helping with global warming, because you're taking charcoal out of the food chain. You're taking charcoal out and putting in something clean. What if you call it charcoal-free gas? Where now you're labeling it as the benefit, or CO2-free gas.
Or just clean gas.
Clean gas.
Yeah, clean gas.
Very, very few people would understand.
They would understand that.
It's important to say that this gas is odorless
Right.
and clean.
Right.
Odorless might be like adding in the clean and the odorless.
Yeah.
Maybe your LP bottles would be, let's say, yellow and green, or maybe light blue or white, where they have this clean look. Like, you wouldn't want brown or black.
Right.
So maybe you can kind of think of a branding thing of your colors and your names would be evoking things like, you know, clean energy and sunshines and clouds and clean water.
But I think, I mean, to Michael's point, I think there is definitely this educational aspect, as you were raising. You know, if there is a natural resistance to you saying sort of my gas for cooking my food, you know, either I think you have to work on several fronts at the same time. So branding is definitely one of them, but also, you know, trying to educate. But we know, you know, from all of the experts that we have, for example, at our Hult Prize Accelerator, who mentioned over the past few weeks here how incredibly difficult it can be to change people's behaviors, right? So either there is a branding thing, or, you know, you even try to separate your supply chain from your from your kind of selling side of it. So you have two different companies. You have U-gas
Yeah.
that collects feces and
In the social part and the
whatever
business
does it.
part.
And then you have, you know, clean gas. And nobody really understands or cares actually where the gas comes from.
He's right. You don't need to.
And you don't need to connect it.
You don't need to connect it.
Obviously, right?
That's actually it's a disadvantage to connect them.
I think so. Based on what you said, Javier, I think so.
I mean, there's multinational companies in the United States that have tons of different businesses, and they would never ever mix the two. Like Unilever owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. No one would ever buy Unilever ice cream. It doesn't taste nearly as good as Ben & Jerry's. I think Johan has a really good point. People don't need to know that it's the same company. And you're not being deceptive. You're not hiding it. You're just not advertising that fact.
Okay.
So I think to say that we have two different things going on would be something. What would be really interesting is if you could, when you talk about a franchise model, is if there was enough money, let's say you charged a little extra on the fertilizer side, if there's money there, and maybe a little extra on the gas side, I wonder if you could give people the toilets and pay them $1 a week to do the exchange. Every time they exchange their full tank, they get $1. Now you're paying them to put these tanks in their house. You're paying them to reliably deliver, basically be a reliable natural resource and food chain compliant where they're going to be giving it to you. Because when you think about it, if you gave me this little porta potty and it's Monday and I had a party, I had a lot of people over and it got full, I might just dump it in the latrine. So I'm not going to wait till Wednesday for the truck to come around.
Right.
And now you've lost your supply chain. But if I know that I get $1 for every time I bring a full tank, I might say to my friends, okay, leave the toilet alone, it's full, go use the latrine. You know, maybe you're drunk enough because I had a party. You don't really care if you go to the latrine. But I think there might be something there, and it would certainly help with the pitch if you could have in your numbers that we're going to give the toilets and we're going to pay people $1 or a very nominal sum to give us that the full tank every time. And when that full tank happens, maybe you have a separate truck behind it, or actually it could even be on a different day, where the LP gas exchange was happening. So maybe they make money off the toilet side, and they pay a little bit extra on the clean fuel, the clean odorless fuel side. And you could say to people, you're already paying $500 a year for dirty CO2 fuel. Well, what if you said, for $550, or maybe just $500, get rid of the charcoal and we'll give you clean odorless gas. And by the way, we'll give you $3 a week when the bus comes around to pick up the toilet. It'd be nice if those numbers would work. And then you go to let me ask about the biodigester. How much is a biodigester?
$7,500, not
$7.
$7,000. So the franchisee would have to buy the biodigester. Yes?
No,
Who's going to pay for the biodigester?
I think we should pay for the biodigester. So expensive.
Well, maybe not. Because it's a coaching session, isn't it, Johan?
I think so. If it's very expensive, I wouldn't want to pay for it.
Yeah. So there's a phrase in the United States called OP, other people's money. So O for other, P for people, other people's. Now, when we have a franchise model, people typically have to pay money just to be able to be a part of the franchise. And part of that includes, we're going to bring you the customers, we're going to give you the training, we're going to show you how to make money at this. All you have to be is hardworking and willing and pay us some money. What if the franchise fee was $7,500 for the biodigester? You have to do that.
Yeah.
And why not $2,500 for the training and the customers, and we'll do everything that you need, and we'll give you consulting for a period of time. So $10,000 to buy a franchise operation. We'll say we're going to give you this area, which would be, let's say, 10 square miles or however much that biodigester can handle. And let's say that community grows. Let's say we move to Mexico City, where now there's a lot more people. You could say, if you have that franchise area, fine, you have to buy another biodigester for us to continue. We'll only deliver to you if you can digest what we're bringing you. But I would make that expense be part of the franchising fee. So now you could start this for free. So does that make sense for the bio? So I wouldn't pay for the biodigester. Then we have the issue of who pays for the toilets.
Right. So, but when you're thinking about so to that point, if I can just inquire a little bit more around the franchisee, so the person who you imagine buying this franchise, who do you see as that person, if you have, or that company, or do you have any thoughts around who is the customer of that franchise?
Oh,
Like, what do they look like? How old
the
are they?
franchisee.
Yeah,
Yeah, why would they want to do this?
Exactly. Where are they based? Sort of, what type of company is it? Is it a person? Just to kind of understand a little bit, kind of what resources they have.
Okay, we imagine a person, and I would like him to know part of the community, so
So it's a local, maybe.
yeah.
A local person.
Okay. And so what kind of economic means does a local person have?
I don't think he could afford the franchise fee.
Right.
So then, if you imagine that person, maybe then we need also to think about an innovative financing solution, so that you can have that person, if what you want is to have the local person as a franchisee, or you have that local person as the face and the manager of the franchisee, and you have somebody else backing it.
What about the latrine people? Because you're competing with the latrine people now. What if you went to the latrine people who, instead of looking at them as your competitor, because they're certainly going to be looking at you as the competitor, and say to them, you're making $100 a year or whatever you're making by coming around once a year to clean this out. Well, why don't you take our solution, and I can show you how you're going to make 50% more by going from a latrine solution to a biodigester solution. And my next great idea, drum roll, why doesn't the biodigester stay in the community? Why does it have to go somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you even need the truck?
And the franchisee can take the human waste to this place. Many franchisee can take the human waste to one central house, or
Yeah, maybe if you do that, or alternatively, the people who transport the feces, if as Michael suggested, the actual biodigester is located very close to the community that's using it. Maybe then there is no real need for a motorized transport. Maybe that's something that you carry there, or I don't know. There are obviously many.
It saves the truck.
It saves the truck, but I think there's caution in terms of that people are genuinely not very happy and comfortable in dealing with their own feces and carrying a bucket of feces around. I don't think that would be very positive. I think many have failed.
Okay, so to that point, let's say you're my customer that doesn't want to deal with that, and that makes a lot of sense. What if we're in the community and we look at these toilets as the kitchen trash? What happens when you're done with the trash? You bring it out to a bigger trash can outside. So what if you had your small toilets indoors, and my family happens to fill theirs up on a Monday night? Why not take the full toilet out to the biodigester, which is right next to the latrine? I leave it, I pick up a clean empty one, and I go home. And then someone else, their job for the day, to get an employed job, is they dump the full toilet into the biodigester and they pick up the gas. So why wouldn't you have on one end, I take my full toilet, I just drop it off, I don't want to touch it, I'm done, give me a clean one, I go home. On Monday, someone's taking care of all the full ones, cleaning them out to make new ones. That's one job. Then on the other end of the biodigester side, the gas is being made. And so there's someone here that will give you a full gas tank when you bring your empty. And to Johan's point, they don't have to be related businesses. You could be going to one part of the camp to do your toilet exchange where the latrine is located, and then the gas exchange can be somewhere else. You don't need a central location. You don't need the delivery truck, and people don't have to wait around with the toilet for on Wednesday, because that's going to be a logistical issue.
Right. And so just kind of probing into the current situation with the latrines. So was that initial picture that you guys, showed us in the PowerPoint? Is that an accurate description of what's going on right now, or is there how much? What does it look like? Their current is that you go centrally to somewhere, or how does the current latrine system work?
In some houses, they have just a hole in the ground, and they do it step up.
Yep.
Okay.
And
And then sorry to interrupt you, but and then somebody in that family will clean it and put it outside, or
no, it's like a hole,
Yeah, it's just a deep.
So deep.
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 Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
and nobody ever kind of touches
No,
it or
just
goes and
one time per year.
oh,
the
okay.
person who clean it.
Oh, like a septic
But
tank.
Yeah.
exactly. But then there is somebody. Then there is the government that comes and cleans it for them.
Yes. And others have the toilet, but with a hole, and the latrine just under the toilet.
And at the end, covered with sand.
Yeah.
So even that smells.
Exactly. But I'm. So what I'm not hearing, what you're describing, compared to the solution that you're offering, is the part of I do whatever I need to do, and then I grab it or clean it or somehow transport my feces somewhere else. So that's something that you're adding, as I understand it.
Yes.
Because I think from what I've heard around other ideas, that's something that is generally takes a little bit of it's a bit of a struggle educating people that it's okay to carry around your feces, let's say. And so maybe if there is a way where, they obviously don't really like to carry it around, like you and I wouldn't want to probably carry our, feces around. But is there a way to make sure to have them not having to do it? And maybe then your initial suggestion around the truck was good, because we should remember, and that's something that we've heard a lot in the past few weeks from people with a great amount of experience from markets where there is a large population of poor people, that poor people or people with low incomes are very aspirational. If they see somebody who's rich in the city using a water toilet or something like that, they also want that. They don't want to be carrying their feces around, because that makes them look poor, per se. So I'm just
True.
I'm thinking very out loud, but I'm just.
Well, what they do in the
exploring.
United States, where they have porta potties, portable bathrooms for, let's say, concerts at the beach, public events for fairs, etc. So it's like a small outhouse. You open the door, there's the bathroom, and a truck comes by and they suck that out like once a week.
Right.
You could almost do a simpler version of, you don't have to transport this at all. The delivery truck comes to your house with a large hose. How they clean out the latrine once a year. Maybe you have a larger tank, much larger, and they come once a month. I don't know how you deal with the smell.
But that's
But now you're not carrying the feces, which that's a benefit. Some people are old; they can't do that.
One problem for that is that I don't know how to say. We need the feces should be fresh.
So
Fresh.
how long do they? How long do you
Maybe 2 days, 2-3 days.
have? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, the bio side kind of dies.
Yeah.
Okay, so on that point, now I know that we don't have to solve all the world's problems today, but what if, so right now they're going to a central place in the community to go to the bathroom. What, is that correct? So that they're not
No.
at home.
In home,
are
they have
in home.
latrines in home.
the latrines are in their home.
Yeah.
So I was thinking if they had, you know, like in a college dorm, the bathroom's down the hall. What if there were almost like mini, semi-private, semi-public toilets within, let's say, 100-foot walking distance of their home? So now they get rid of the smell because there's no feces in the house. So you walk 50 or 100 feet to a shared community bathroom, like a public restroom, and then that gets pumped out, you know, every day or two. Gets rid of the smell. It's centrally located. There's no shifting it back and forth, but you do lose the privacy. You can't just get up in the middle of the night and walk 2 feet to go to the bathroom. Now you have to walk outside.
Is that something you've thought about, this side of it?
We don't have problems with the smell because people, like, we have the separation to don't have bad smells. So people cover the feces with sand or something, so there's no smell. That's
so
not a
smell is not an
problem.
issue.
Okay,
That's
so
good.
the smell's not an
Yeah.
issue. Now, are we creating a problem that doesn't exist? We're saying that people don't want to carry their own feces around. Is that true?
I'm not sure. Rebecca, our teammate, told us that people there told her that they would carry their faces to a central place.
They would.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
That's very good. Maybe we're just, this is, you know.
Maybe we're creating a
just
problem that
based on
doesn't
things
exist.
No,
So
but probably it
it's great.
will exist in other country or who
Well,
knows. Like,
I think that's where the payment comes in. That, you know, if I'm encouraged to recycle plastic bottles in the United States because I can get 5 cents back, and some people, I mean, a lot of homeless people make an absolute job out of it, where they go around getting bottles because they get money for it. If you did a recycling thing like that, literally is recycling, and said to someone, hey, bring us your full container, we'll pay you $1 and we'll give you a clean one afterwards. If someone has no money and they're willing and able to carry that, they might say, I'll do that. Or maybe they say to their neighbor, hey, if you don't want to do it, why not get teenage kids for summer jobs? Say, I'll go around to my neighborhood, and if you give me 25% of your fee, and I'll do the exchanging for you, perhaps for older people who can't carry the waste or carry the new natural gas. That could be a summer job.
For sure.
I mean, there's going to be someone who says, I'm willing to make money and I'm willing to work for it. Why not? That might be your franchise. And if someone says, I don't want to do that, you can say there's going to be some local people that will come around.
Exactly.
Yeah, just like a maid service or someone that clears your snow and the...
It can be a premium service. You can have the option.
Yeah.
You get the toilet. Either you can carry it to us for free, or if you feel like that's something you can't or don't want to do, you can pay us a fee and we'll sort out the carrying and the disposal of it for you.
oh,
Okay, I like that.
me too.
Give people the choice.
So now I'm still not clear on whether you should be buying the biodigester or selling it to this franchisee. If you run this whole business, you keep all the profits, you keep all the control, and once you have these franchisees or other people who are non-employees, you still have to make sure that they do the job right. So they're still kind of employees. I'm just wondering if you don't want to start this out where you're employing people and you control everything so that you can make sure that it all works well. Once you get franchisees and they start doing things differently, you may end up having more work and less money. So I'm wondering if the franchise model is the best model, or if you just start out with you run the entire show, see how it goes, and then maybe you change it partway through.
Because for the initial pilot, how were you thinking that? How were you, kind of imagining that?
Oh, doing ourselves everything and see how it goes.
And tell me a little bit more about the fertilizer. That part seems to be outside of the circle of sustainability.
Yeah.
So would you be selling this fertilizer back to the community or to commercial farmers?
To farmers.
Yes,
And-
we had to produce fertilizer because we can't do another thing with feces. So there's the same problem with the contact with feces. So we can use it as fertilizer or compost.
Are farmers going to want that? Are you competitively priced? Does the fruits and vegetables grow better with this form of fertilizer? Is there any advantage to what a farmer can get now for fertilizer?
We will be competitive with price.
cheaper? Same
Cheaper.
price?
It's cheaper, it's cheaper.
Why do you have to be cheaper?
Oh, yeah.
Here comes the capitalist again.
Yeah. Okay.
So you could be slightly cheaper.
Yeah, I
That-
learned this
Or you
time.
could just be better.
Okay.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
not? Why not be
I mean,
better?
I know what are farmers currently? So that's another customer, right?
Mhm.
So who's that customer? And
Okay.
what do they currently use?
Farmers. Some farmers use like chemicals,
Chemicals, okay.
chemicals, and another farmers the same, like compost created by animals
Worms.
measure.
Worms?
The compost has worms.
Oh, gotcha.
So that's great.
That's a food source.
Food source.
Very good, yes. All the, yeah, what's it called? The cyclical economy.
Yes.
Anyway, and is any of these farmers currently using a feces-based kind of fertilizer?
I don't know if, well, feces based, yeah, but from animals.
Right.
I don't know if from human in Mexico, but people does in Haiti. There's a company that same uses dry toilets and create compost with human waste.
Interesting. It was actually very interesting, just as a side note. So, we went to a meeting with one of the other teams last week, and in the Uber back, the Uber driver was actually a Liberian guy who was doing his PhD at Brown. He also happened to run his own human waste fertilizer business in Liberia. And what he had done is that he imported these porta potties, and then he just took those porta potties, put them out in the entire city of Monrovia, and then just collected the feces into a big sort of collection, biodigester, I guess, and then he created fertilizer from that, and
You
that
could do
has
that in
just
the
started
US.
to take off. So that's I mean, it's very interesting, and it's, as you say, it's something that is currently happening.
Yes.
But I'm just wondering if have you been talking to any of these farmers so far, potential
No.
farmers or any farmers?
No.
I would talk to them, and even if they had an objection, again, I think it might be creating a problem of people saying, "Oh, I don't want my cucumbers grown with this kind of fertilizer." I don't know that people would be that micro about it or even know about it. But even if they were, you could sell it to farmers that make crops for animal feed, so that it's never actually going to get back to humans. Which brings up another question: are there any communicable diseases that you can have with the fertilizer, or is that all cleaned out before it actually gets back into the food chain?
Yeah.
Like if someone had a communicable disease, could you collect from hospitals where the patients are sick?
Oh, there is a problem because the pathogens. So we should like kill all the pathogens, and if we take the waste from hospitals, that would be more difficult.
Well, you don't know if people are sick or not in these communities where you're going to now.
Yes.
So I think we have to assume that they are sick,
Okay.
right? So we don't know if there's HIV or gonorrhea or whatever communicable diseases that are out there that are going to be continuing to live in the feces. We have to assume that they're there. And how do we get those out? Now, to Johan's point, the technology exists because it's being done in Liberia. The question is, how is he dealing with it? Because he's collecting strangers around the city. He has no idea who they are either.
Yes.
So my guess, and I could be wrong, is they dry it out and let it sit for such a long period of time that the pathogens naturally die.
Yes.
Again, I don't know. That would be for you to take a look at that. I also like the idea of using this as an experiment to go to, I mean, if you came to Boston, a completely Western modern city, and combined ideas, Johan's idea from Liberia, the Uber driver, if there were porta potties all over Boston, I would love it. So would a lot of people. And it's free because we're basically supplying. And now, what if that could lower my gas bill for the gas that I cook with, and we sell it to a utility? Like I could see a Boston utility funding this. So the gas company makes the porta potties to get the fuel. Like, you could scale this on a municipal level and sell it to technology to a city. And Boston has biodigesters, which is how we cleaned up the harbor. So I'd encourage you to look at this as a small test, get all the bugs out, literally, and then you could scale this globally and really make a global warming solution. And this could actually be an energy crisis solution as well.
So to your point there, you mentioned in your pitch that you already have investment from Gas Nieto, one of the big utilities in Mexico. Tell us a little bit more about the background there and how you were able to secure that money.
Okay, so it was just in grants.
Grants?
So
Okay.
Could you, I think Johan and I would both encourage you to talk more to them. They may be your biggest funding source. One is they've already given you money. You're honing this idea better. You're from Mexico, they're Mexican. You could start this whole thing in Mexico. Theoretically, if you could create enough fuel, what if Mexico became an exporter of this form of clean energy?
yeah.
So they may want to support you. That may be where your funding arm is. And again, with the Hult Prize, a lot of people get nervous that, oh, my life will be great if I win the $1 million, and my life will be over if I don't. This is just going to be one step in the road, and the $1 million is very small for the size of your project. My suggestion would be to encourage deepening that relationship that you already have with that gas company. Share this TV show with them, and think, how could this be a national solution for Mexico? Not just the slums, but could this be a profit-making venture on the fertilizer side, the gas side, and what do you do with the human waste? Because something has to happen there. And why not put all these porta potties out in Mexico City, all over the place? Why not? And you're just basically getting free fuel. I think there's some huge solutions and partnerships with the current relationship you have.
Yeah, for sure. And so do you know the motivation for them behind giving you this grant? Was there a specific kind of a goal that they had in mind for you, or?
And this is our last question before. So.
Okay. I think there was an accident in a Mexican hospital. This company was involved in the problem. The company once give to Mexicans, or it's like a image issue.
Yeah.
They want get a better image after this accident.
Excellent. So you have clean fuel.
Yeah.
So you can offer them. So now that you know their motivation, that they want to be the clean company that creates solutions, you can pitch them more on that angle, that you are the clean company, because that's what they would be willing to fund. So always figure out with your partners, what do they want out of the deal, and try to give that to them and make sure that you get what you need out of the deal. So right now we're actually out of time, but it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. I think you have a fascinating idea. I think it can be a global solution if done right, and I think you've already started with an amazing partner that will probably want to do more with you. So thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for you.
Thank you.
Thank you.